Good day, everyone. You're welcome on Just Event Online TV. I'm the country Zach once again on your program, Issues and Reality. Today, we'll be discussing the all important and mightily discussed tax administration bill that was initiated by the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The discussion around this tax bill have been on and on for months, I think, if not over a year. The research, the bills, the public hearings that was there, and then the changes that later went on in the, in the National Assembly. But one thing is certain, that bill is a monumental bill. But as few as experts of governance and management will say, government is a continuum. If there is a low side to the bill today, it can still be reviewed by subsequent governments. But the ones that is currently done, the administration have maintained that this bill is meant to consolidate Nigerian revenue purse in one place, which will make it more accountable, and also to make sure that people are not paying excessive taxes from to different agencies. Pay it in one place and everybody will be fine. But it has been fine. I think that is the discussion we want to have today, and we'll go through the nooks and crannies, the good side and the other side of the bill. So today I have with me an expert of management and policy, and also a public affairs analyst, Mr. Abdulkadir Olamide Gali. You're welcome on the show, sir.
Thank you so much for having me again.
Sir, I think some people would say that the essence of governance is for people who are under the government to have a good life. But the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I said, if you don't agree with them on everything, they maintain that this tax bill is majorly for the good of the country and the good of the people. And they have been throwing around some things that, okay, this is the good side. If you earn under $1 million, you're exempted from taxes. If your business is not up to 50 million, you are exempted from taxes. But there are other topics. Some people are saying there are other sides to this bill: consolidated revenue, the ones that were meant for health, for education, and all those things. But please, can you give us an overview of what the tax bill entails in real terms?
Now, I think I've mentioned it here some time ago that taxation is a macroeconomic indices that has a very strong impact on the economy of a nation. Tax is used majorly to restructure economy, and tax reform is actually a welcome thing if a particular government discovered that the previous tax system is not helping the economy, is not actually good for doing business. And one of the major reasons why this tax reform is being carried out by the current administration is to, just like you have said, to actually block tax loopholes. The government believes that there are a lot of revenue losses that need to be blocked, and also there have been cries from private business owners of multiple taxation, and the government is now coming up with a reform to resolve these areas of challenges in our tax administration policy. But you see, if you look at the controversy surrounded the tax reform proposal from opposition from some states in Nigeria, majorly from northern part of the country, it has to do with fiscal federalism. The fiscal federalism. Some people, though, like I think I've said it here, that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is an advocate of fiscal federalism, and people most especially Northerners, suspect that is actually, moving Nigeria towards that fiscal federalism, and which they think is not going to be good for the development and growth of their states, because some northern governors, like I said, and some northern politicians are not ready to be independent financially, to be independent fiscally, and they don't want to tap on their resources, because all states in Nigeria have abundant natural resources. These people have enjoyed, free money for many years, and they don't want to strive, they don't want to struggle to generate revenue locally in their various states. So the federal government is coming up with a tax reform that will actually challenge some states to wake up and see how they can really work hard to generate revenue on their own. But you see, this is Nigeria, and the major philosophy behind taxation in an economy like ours in Nigeria is to make things easier for private business owners, small, medium, and micro business enterprises, and private individuals. And that is actually what the tax reform is advocating. If you look at it theoretically, you see that it's a very beautiful proposal. But the challenge in Nigeria is implementation. And you see, I have the points here. Example, the government is actually trying to pull over all tax agencies, into one purse by changing Federal Internal Revenue Service to National Revenue Service, that will actually stop MPA, Customs Service, and other agencies and NIMASA from collecting taxes, so that everybody pays directly to the National Revenue Service. That actually should block loopholes. That actually should help the country generate more revenue and stop revenue losses. But if you look at some other provisions in the tax proposal, I doubt it, because of our nature in Nigeria, if implementation is going to be 100%, if implementation is going to actually solve the economic crisis that the tax actually was proposed to solve. And one of the major factors why I have that doubt is that in Nigeria there is no data. We do not have accurate data. If you look at some of the provision, one of them I think said that the income tax, people that earn 800 and below will be exempted from income tax. So I doubt if Nigeria has the statistics of those who earn 800,000 and below. I doubt it. I think the only record Nigerian government has is those of civil servants, and we have majority of Nigerians are not civil servants. I doubt if Nigeria even know the number of private companies that we have here. So how do you now monitor businesses that you how do you monitor individuals now? We are talking about personal income tax. How do you monitor individuals and the income they have?
Because that's what somebody said. Somebody said that, like you said now, that we don't have data.
Yes,
there are people that do vocational works, and
of course.
They make
of course, yes, of course.
But so now, will it now be devilish for somebody to be a civil servant? Because as a civil servant, government, it will be easier for government to track your income. But as somebody that does vocation, government will not be. So somebody that knows that I have a brother that is making more than me, but he's not paying as much taxes as I'm saying, and the low side comes from the fact that I work with government and he does his own work. How do you, as a management expert, how do you think government can tackle these loopholes? Like we said, that government is a continuum, and this bill or act will still go through other reforms in subsequent years.
Of course. You see, what government should have done is to make sure that the government put in place a policy that will make it impossible for individuals to operate business without registration. The CAC is there, but it's unfortunate in this country until you approach CAC. It's only when you approach CAC that CAC knows that you exist, that your business exists. I think the mandate of TAC should be more than, you know, applying to them for a business name registration.
They should be given, the power to track businesses that are not.
No, that is part of the mandate of CAC.
Wow.
Just like it's part of the mandate of the town planning authority that we in Kwara now. What do they have changed the name to
Kwara
GIS now?
Yes.
GIS. So it's part of their mandate to monitor the space, that is the land where you want to erect your building, to see if it's not in walkway, if it's not under pipeline. But they don't care. They will not even come to see where you are going to erect your building. Just apply, they give you approval. That's exactly what CAC is doing. CAC is supposed to monitor. CAC is supposed to go out and see people who do business without registration, so that if the government put in place a mechanism to make sure that it's difficult for you to operate your private business without registration, then government will be able to identify people who earn this certain amount of money to be able to, you know, tax their income. Because we are talking about income that people earn, impose tax on individual income, and not only individual income, entities income. So in Nigeria, only those who serve under government pay tax. If you are a private company, you can evade tax as easy as anything. So the first thing government should do is to make sure that they monitor businesses, private businesses, so that they monitor their income to be able to tax them.
But another thing is that when people pay taxes, or when you ask them for taxes, what they ask you is that what is the benefit for us? There is this ideology that when the country is good, people will happily pay taxes. But you know, when you buy a car, you know that you have to go to the mechanic almost every month because the road is not good. You know that the government is not paying it's not giving you any subsidy on fuel. You have to pay out of your blood and sweat to buy fuel. Then you ask yourself, okay, even if as a good citizen, why do I have to go to the government to pay taxes?
You see, in fact, I was thinking that it's like the issue of this tax reform that this federal government is even bringing up now. It's like the Yorubas will say, a show for one year DSC, Yoruba odindi ọmọ lọ́wọ́ rẹ̀. Government is telling me that it's going to exempt low income earner from personal income tax. It's going to reduce company tax from I think 25% to from some percent to
yes. Some will
reduction of
those that are over 250 will
pay some amount of I forgot the figure. But the point is this same government that is doing this has removed subsidy
on education
without palliative, corresponding palliative, remove subsidy on education, remove subsidy on almost everything,
even exchange rate.
In fact, let me tell you, you pay more when you want to acquire your national passport now. You pay more. There is increment in the fee. There's increment in the fee when you want to obtain your license, driver's license, your motor license. All these increments are there, and that government is telling me that it's reducing tax. What is the essence? You gave me 1 naira, you collected 20 naira. That is what is happening. So that is why Nigerians do not even appreciate the tax reform. You see, when you want to know whether a policy is popular or not, you will see from the street. People listen to radio, and there are so many radio programs in their local languages. If the policy is popular, you will have seen people, talking about it everywhere you go. But nobody even know there's any what is that. If not the northern governors and some of the northern politicians that stood against the proposal, nobody even know that there's any tax reform in Nigeria.
But another thing is that some people would say, like the Bretton Woods economic advisors, the IMF, the World Bank, remove subsidy, tax your people to the wall and everything. It has not helped anybody. But since this government has come in, it has always been from one capitalist and imperialist economic policy to the other. As an expert, do you think there is a good sign. Maybe Nigerian story will be different because nobody has ever followed this policy through and gain at the end of it.
No, is it the challenge we have in Africa, not only in Nigeria, the challenge we have in our economy is that our government do not dictate what happen in our economy. There are, I don't know, quote and unquote, economic experts in the IMF, just as I have mentioned, in World Bank, in fact, even in African Development Bank,
Yes.
in Africsim, that dictate the, you know, the flow of economic policy. In fact, IMF, World Bank will come and give us data that this is the poverty index data in Nigeria. Somebody who is sitting in New York is telling me the poverty index in Nigeria. It's a lie. Those figures are given to be able to tell our government that remove subsidy if you want to earn good revenue. And the purpose is for the government to be able to pay back their debt. I keep on saying it. Lasisi Olagunju, he was writing, he's a columnist. He was telling Tinubu that do not listen to these people. Do not listen to these people. They will tell you restructure your economy. They want to restructure because they have their projection. They have their target. Okay, if you do this, they will look at the international, economic atmosphere. Okay, if Nigeria should, remove subsidy, this is the advantage to the World Bank. This is going to be the advantage to the IMF. And people should understand that there is no IMF, there is no World Bank. It's the Europeans, it's the West. Everything serves their interest. That is the point. And I told some people that even if Tinubu comes back for another 4 years, this is how we are going to, this is how the government is going to end. Because this man is, I want to say it here, that because of the fact that I am in the studio, is a puppet of the West. Our president is a puppet of the West. So he believes so much in Western, economic theories than the reality of our country.
But sometimes I used to feel bad when I see things. When this government was coming on board, he said it was a renewed hope agenda. The first time Nigerians had the hopes, political slogan was in the 1993, the Abiola election. Well, that was
Yes.
then he said he was renewing the hope 20 years later.
Of course.
30 years later. But I watched an interview of Abiola. I was not that grown then. I watched an interview of Abiola where he said that if I become the president, all these economic advices, that means this thing has been happening before him.
Of course.
He said, if I become all these advices from World Bank and IMF, I will not listen to them.
Yes.
We have people here with the brains that can give us Nigerian solutions
Of course,
to
to
Nigerian
Nigerian
problems. But the person that renewed the hope is doing quite the opposite of what the person that has the hope is doing.
In fact, some people were of the opinion that MKO did not become the president of Nigeria because of that interview. Because these people will never allow anybody that will, break that jinx, that will stop them from exploiting our economy. People call it neo-colonialism. That is what is it? What it is imperialism, and it's all about economic exploitation. And that is why, in fact, it's only in this country that we are so unfortunate that even when we had military juntas, they sit down.
Still control the wishes of the West.
They sit down to the tune of the West. You will see what is happening in Cote d'Ivoire now, in Burkina Faso. We are that person, the leader there is saying, no, let us look inward. I keep on telling people, what is the essence of more than 100 professors of economy in this country? What happened to PhD thesis on economy? What happened to master's degrees thesis on economy? What happened to international conferences, within our country on economy? Why? Why do we still have to, listen to dictate from IMF and from World Bank? That is political. We call that is political feasibility. It's no more economic feasibility. You understand what I'm saying? So, and you keep on asking you can say what is happening to our refineries now. Why are they not working? Is it because our president does not want the refineries to work? If the refinery starts working today, it's going to be a very big plus to his administration. Not work because the West do not want the refinery to work, and our president want to go for another term. So he cannot say no, because he believes that if he said no, he may not be able to win another election. So the tax, if you look at it, my what do you call it, my fear for the tax reform, I think I mentioned one. Where is the data for implementation? No data. I want to tell you, go and find out from records. All these multinational companies in Nigeria evade tax. They don't pay the actual amount of tax they're supposed to pay. You're a journalist. You are aware of what happened to MultiChoice now. Billions of dollars that MultiChoice did not pay to Nigeria. And somebody, a hawker at Ojoba, is paying every day. A hawker there is paying every day. You know, somebody, a barbing salon shop owner is paying every day. And MultiChoice is not paying. And government is now showing MultiChoice, you know, all this dilly-dallying between Nigeria and MultiChoice. So the challenge is that implementation is our biggest challenge. And the major problem of implementation is lack of accurate data.
But to cap it up, if we have agreed that okay, this is the way to go, but this government, in fairness to the current administration, he has said that I've tried as much as possible to make sure the money is trickle down to the state and the local government.
Yes,
he has done something with local government autonomy,
yes,
even though it has not taken full effect. Yes. But he has tried his own. The governor were obviously against the local government autonomy. Now we're here. The governor of Kwara State, the Nigerian Governors Forum chairman, said that the amount he has received as a governor has overridden the level of inflation in the country. But you ask yourself, do we have a commensurate project or things to point at for that effect?
You see, I don't know, because I'm not an expert in the economy, but you know, we do monitor economic indices from other countries. When we talk about inflation here, I don't know what is happening. I don't know the theorist that, because we have seen some countries where government subsidize almost everything, and there's nothing like inflation. People spend like there's no tomorrow. I was in Iran, and in Iran has the cheapest. So somebody was telling me it's Venezuela. That in Venezuela they do not, you don't even pay in Venezuela. But in Iran also is extremely cheap and no inflation. So, and what helped Iran is that they've worked very hard in the area of local production. They did not rely on export at all. They worked very hard to make sure they produce everything locally. In fact, we can achieve that if government is serious about patronizing Nigerian made products or locally made products. I want to come back to the amount of money that like you have said, that has, you know, that is flowing, because it's still flowing, that is flowing from the federation account to the subnationals is extremely high. And what is happening? Our governors are becoming richer every day, and the people are becoming poorer every day, and nobody is holding anybody accountable. I don't even know whether I've just scrapped the EFCC. I've not had the EFCC going after anybody anymore. So, and some people have said it may be political statement really, but some people have said it that one of the ways by which the president can actually secure loyalty and support of governors is to give them money. Yes, if you give them money, fine, they will support you. And we have seen what is happening. You know, exodus from ruling party and other parties to from the opposition party and other parties to the ruling party. It doesn't come. It didn't come on the platter of gold. It's because most especially those governors that are still coming back, you know, this is what we are going to enjoy. if this man comes back, let us support this governor. Sorry, this president. So that money is not justifiable, really. Honestly, it's unjustifiable. The amount of money that's coming to the subnational is not justifiable. I'm telling you. And the president is giving them to say, please, I will give you, give me back. You know, I scratch your back, you scratch my back. And despite the fact that the governors are not really giving their people the money. In fact, I think there was a video that was in circulation that the president even tell them, go and ask your governor, something like that.
Exactly.
It's a comedy. That was a comedy. It was a comedy. It was a comedy because the president, if he's serious about it, there are agencies that can question these people. You know, how many cases have Serap won against the governors? How many? So his job was just doing comedy for Nigeria.
Thank you very much. I think that's a very good place to leave it. Thank you very much for granting us this time. Thank you very much for your educating, insight, and intelligent analysis. Thank you very much, our viewers. I remember saying once again, Abdul Qadir is here. Do have a lovely day. See you next week.